Hi, audience.
Hello.
Wait, it's. Oh. Friends, today I'd like to talk to you about one of Polk County's greatest statesmen, if not the greatest, Spessard Holland. Spessard Holland is a Bartow native, was a Bartow native. He was a lawyer, a county judge, a Florida state senator, Florida's wartime governor, and a U.S. senator. Of course, in 5 minutes, I don't have time to go over all the wonderful achievements that happened during his career, but hopefully with this outline, you'll see that Spessard Holland had great achievements in both his personal and professional lives, and he truly was an extraordinary man. So first we'll start with his family life. He was born July 10th, 1892, just about 2 blocks from where we're standing over on Church Street. And he is the son of B.F. and Virginia Holland. In 1919, he married Mary Agnes Groover, and the couple went on to have 4 children, one of whom is still alive. Her name's Ivanhoe Craney, and she actually lives just a few miles from here. Although he was really a family man, he also was very loyal to his country. So now, having said that, I'd like to talk to you for just a couple minutes about his military career. He was a proud member of the U.S. Army. He volunteered in 1917, served during World War I in the 24th Aero Squadron as a tail gunner. Now, in 1918, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. And he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for extraordinary heroism during the Meuse-Argonne offense, and his Distinguished Cross, according to his personal memoirs, was one of his most cherished possessions that signified a great achievement in his life. So now that I've talked a little bit about his family life and about his military life, I'd like to speak to you about the main crux of his life, which was his political life. So I'll tell you a little bit about Spessard Holland, the public servant. In the notes from the University of Florida Smathers Library of Special Collections, archivist Jim Niemer states, Spessard Holland's career in public service spans approximately 50 years. Now that's quite a long time to be a public servant. So I'll tell you just a little outlines of what he did. In 1920, he was elected Polk County Judge, and he served that term for 8 years. After that, he went back into public practice because he had a law degree from University of Florida, and he started a law firm which eventually became Holland and Knight, which is one of the largest international law firms in the world, and it is still operating today with an office in Tampa, about an hour from here. In 1932, he was elected Florida Senator, and he was elected to 2 4-year terms, so he served for 8 years on the Florida Senate. Then in 1941, he was elected Florida's governor. So, of course, World War II was going on. He was Florida's wartime governor. And some of the highlights of his career as governor was that he was instrumental in seeing that the Everglades was something to be preserved. So he was very instrumental in purchasing or putting aside large sections of the Everglades and eventually starting the Everglades National Park. Also, as wartime governor, he imposed a gasoline tax that went to build 1,500 miles of new highways, which was very important during the war. His wife Mary was First Lady and did things such as victory gardens and knitting quilt squares for soldiers. So they were both very dedicated to serving their country. Perhaps Spessard Holland's most important achievement as a politician was the 24th Amendment, which basically abolished the poll tax. For those of you that don't know what the poll tax is, it's a dollar or two that had to be paid to give you the right to vote, which sounds like a good idea, but eventually it went bad, and it led to corruption and people buying votes. So people were disenfranchised about voting, and the poor people felt like they didn't really have a voice. So Spessard Holland was definitely a man whose heart went out for the poor people and who went out for the undereducated. And for more than a decade, he fought on the Senate floor to get the poll tax abolished. So eventually the 24th Amendment was ratified, and I'd like to think that that's his greatest achievement, because the rights of the poor and equality for minorities were really, really close to his heart. That's just, from reading his memoirs, that seems like the type of man that Spessard Holland was. So I'd like to close with an excerpt from John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy states at a 1964 political fundraiser, when he's introducing Spessard Holland, that none has given more of himself to his state or to his nation than the senior senator Spessard L. Holland. This sort of sums up everything about him. None gave more of himself. He gave his entire self to country. He loved the state of Florida. He loved Bartow. I'd like to just draw your attention for a quick second to the button that I'm wearing. This is Bartow Honors Spessard Holland. And when he retired from the U.S. Senate in 1971, the people of the county, and especially of Bartow, were so glad to have him home that they had a Spessard Holland Day. And the whole town basically closed down and just paid tribute to the man that they loved so much, because he had done so much for them. So the accomplishments that I've touched on today certainly aren't everything in his auspicious career, but they certainly affirm that he's definitely worthy of the great introduction that John F. Kennedy gave him at that fundraiser. And it definitely shows why he was loved by so many and why he truly was Polk County's statesman. Now, if you'd like a more in-depth look at Holland's life and his legacy, I'd like you all to take home one of these. It's the April 2016 Polk Proud History publication, and this whole publication is just dedicated to the life and the achievements of Spessard Holland. So thank you very much.